So you're the family member of an EU citizen and you want to live with them in Spain.
I need expert help.
Great. I'm going to present to you the official information provided by specialists and fact-checked with government websites so you can find out how to become a resident of this wonderful country.
Welcome to YouTooSpain.
Let's dance! Hi, I'm Scats, and today I'm going to take you through the process of registering to live in Spain if you're the family member of an EU citizen. And I'll tell you what documents you need. All of this information is available as a blog article on our website too.
So is this the family reunification visa we're talking about?
No, that's a very different thing. That's only if a non-EU citizen has been resident in Spain for a while and wants their family member to come and live with them. I've put a link below to the video I made about that and the relevant government webpage in case you need to know.
I see. So what are we talking about then?
We are looking at what to do when an EU citizen moves to Spain with their family member or members. In another video, I ran through the first part of the process of registering your intent to live here if you're an EU citizen.
There's a link below to that video.
And now we're going to find out how to apply on the back of that residency for the family members. Some people call it piggybacking. This kind of residency is possible because the laws of the European Union allow it.
Hooray! Where do I apply?
At the immigration office in the province you reside.
OK, so what are the requirements?
Firstly, you need proof of residence of the EU citizen, which could be their DNI card if they're Spanish, or their EU residency card if they're not. You'll also need their passport. Then you'll need proof that you are the family member of that EU citizen, which could be a birth certificate or marriage certificate.
It depends.
Yes, there are some variations here depending on your individual circumstances. Let's go through them first before we find out what else you need.
Legal partners.
You'll need to show a marriage certificate or certificate of civil partnership.
Non-married partners.
You'll need proof of your stable long-term relationship, which could be the pareja de hecho, joint bank statements, joint mortgage statements, or other official documents like the birth certificates of your children, where appropriate.
Children and grandchildren.
You will need proof that they are under 21.
Parents and grandparents.
You'll need proof of your status as a dependent family member.
Other family members.
You'll need proof of the family relationship and, where appropriate, the existence of serious health or incapacity grounds or of cohabitation.
What about translations and apostilles?
As with all documents from official organisations abroad, like births and marriage certificates, these will need to have an apostille stamp or the equivalent of that in your home country. And if they're not in Spanish, they'll need to be translated by an officially recognised Spanish translator.
OK, so apart from showing proof of your relationship with the EU citizen, what other documents do you need?
Let's make a list.
Number 1, your passport.
This needs to be valid. If it's expired and you're in the process of renewing it, then you must provide proof of the renewal request and a copy of the passport.
Number 2, 3 photographs.
Make sure they are the official size and requirements.
Number 3, payment of the fee.
This is only about €10 at the moment.
Number 4, the application form.
This is called the Modelo EX-19. Make sure you have 2 signed and filled in copies.
Number 5, a Padrón certificate.
This is your official proof of address and it needs to be less than 3 months old. You should already have one of these because the EU citizen would have needed it to register too.
Number 6, healthcare cover and employment. It depends.
Yes, the documents you need will depend on whether you or your EU citizen partner or both of you will be working. Let's look at the alternatives.
If the EU member is working,
then you will have to show their work contract or certificate of employment from the employer with their tax identification and proof of social security affiliation. This gives them and their family members access to state health care.
If the EU member is self-employed,
you'll need to show proof of their social security documents, which again will provide healthcare cover for all of you.
If only the non-EU citizen is working,
you'll need to show your work contract and social security affiliation.
If neither of you will be working,
in this and all other cases, you'll need proof of sufficient means to show you can sustain yourselves economically.
It depends.
It does. There are variations on these variations. If your situation brings up a red flag, you may need to consult a specialist to guide you.
Do I need to make copies of anything?
I always say it's worth having copies of your documents. It's better to have too much than too little. And the better prepared you are with your case file, the more favourable your outcome will be. Get your ducks in a row.
How long will it take to process my application?
The authorities say if you're successful, you'll have your foreigner's identity card,
TIE,
within 3 months. Although experience tells us it's usually 30 to 45 days.
How long does the residency last?
Unlike people who arrive in Spain on, for example, the non-lucrative visa, family members of EU citizens don't have to renew their residency every year or two in the first 5 years. And when their TIE card expires after those 5 years, they can apply to be a permanent resident.
What happens if the EU partner dies?
Any non-EU family members granted residency maintain their rights to residency on the death of the EU national, and they can still apply for permanent residency after 5 years.
What happens if you get divorced? It depends.
The non-EU citizen will keep their residency rights if they comply with any of the following requirements.
Number 1,
your relationship had ended at least 3 years before the divorce process began, and at least one of those years was spent in Spain.
Number 2,
if you are granted custody of the child or children you had with the EU citizen.
Number 3,
if you were a legally proven victim of domestic violence with the EU national.
Number 4,
if you are granted custody rights to your children who reside in Spain.
And can you still get permanent residency?
Yes, you'll get a new residency card without the name of the EU citizen you applied with.
And that's about it. Except for this.
If you have any questions, put them in the comments below the video on YouTube so that the answers can help everyone else too.
Subscribe
and click on the bell to be the very first to hear each time I release a new very helpful video just for you.
And also
join me every Saturday morning for the live Q&A when you and I can both ask questions to the experts and get the answers you need.
It's a win-win-win with a cherry on top.
Peace and love.
Peas and fluff.
Let's dance.